This is Certified Sommelier John Honest, and welcome to part 2 of my whole bottle review of, and this is a mouthful, Domaine de Croix, Savigny, Les Beaunes, Peuillets, I can say Peuillets Cru, Les Peuillets, part 2. This is a red Burgundy from Côtes de Beaunes. This is going to be the southern part of Burgundy, and it's 100% Pinot Noir. Now, I know a lot of you people drinking this are drinkers of heavier wines, Cabernet Sauvignon, perhaps Shiraz. You love your California Cabs, you love your Left Bank Bordeaux, and you would never think of drinking a lighter wine. Well, I'm here to tell you, you're going to miss out if you don't. Look, my preference is the heavier wines as well, but Burgundy is an exceptionally seductive bottle, and this one right here is no exception. I'm not quite going to say it's a magical bottle, but for $85, you don't really expect magic. What you expect is an excellent introduction to the region, and this is what this was. The thing about the red Burgundies, and they're all 100% Pinot Noir. So when you think Pinot Noir, you usually think a lighter wine, and while this is certainly not as heavy as a Cab, this was heavier than I expected. It actually had some good heft to it, almost like a lighter bodied Merlot, shall we say. I could see my hand through it, but just barely. So the way that I judge a bottle of wine as magical is when I get into it, if it takes me on an emotional journey, if it makes me feel things that I've never felt before, brings up long lost feelings that I haven't thought about in 30 or so years. And the Burgundies can do that like no other wine can. But that's when you get into the higher end ones, $800 bottles, $1,000 bottles, some of the wines that billionaires pay to drink once in a lifetime. What you have here is an excellent introduction to Burgundy. And so what you get with Burgundy is, like I said, it's Pinot Noir, so you think lighter, is the magic comes in on the nose. And this one definitely didn't disappoint. You usually think you get a lot of red fruits on the nose, and there were certainly some red fruits in there, some raspberry, maybe a hint of strawberry. But what I actually got a lot of on this one was these wonderful, just wild field berries. Let's just call them that. Both red berries and blackberries, very concentrated. And if you've had Burgundy before, there is an essential character to Burgundy. Call it a little bit of minerality with earth and just kind of a little bit of something ethereal mixed in. This has that quality. Not quite enough to take you places, but it has that essential quality to where when you compare it, say, with the California Pinot from Russian River Valley, it immediately stands out that, wow, this is a Burgundy. And so as I went through now the nose, on the Burgundies, they're really known for their noses. They swirl around, they dance, they evolve. But what we're really interested in is the palate. I don't believe this 80% of the wine experience is the nose in any way, shape, or form. The nose sets up the palate. So we want to have a taste of this. And what you get with this is a nice, I'm going to call it a medium-bodied wine. A nice medium-bodied wine with a mouthfeel that kind of floats over your tongue. And what you get when you start when you nose it actually happens in your mouth as well. So you get the evolution of kind of the wild berries, you get the evolution of the minerality, you get that essential Burgundy character that is a great introduction to the region. Now, when I'm talking about stuff like this, notice that I'm talking about a little more of the technical aspects of the wine, which was fantastic. The aromas, the scents, everything like that. I'm not quite talking about the emotional journey, which is what we talk about when we have an amazing wine experience, when it takes us places. But the other half of the magic of wine is being introduced to regions that can set us up for magic we never knew existed. So I'm going to tell you a little secret for you heavier Cab drinkers about drinking good Burgundy. And it's this. Burgundy is a much more subtle, nuanced wine. And when you go through it, you're picking out these flavors and aromas that exist just for a second. So what that does is it actually enhances your palate for the heavier wines. So what you have to understand, and your sense of smell, your sense of taste don't change. But the processing behind it, like going to the gym and working out and building up muscle, as you drink more and more wine, that begins to build up and change. And so when I went through the Certified Sommelier exam, went through the tasting portion, over a 3-month period, I tasted a lot of different wines. And I took notes from them, I kept a tasting diary, and it was amazing how fast, over a 3-month period, I could begin to pick out the flavors and aromas that I had no idea were there before. Well, when you're a Burgundy drinker, what happens is that you're building up that processing power so that when you go back to the heavier wines, you notice things on the nose you wouldn't have noticed before. You notice things on the palate you wouldn't have noticed before. You really start to appreciate the world of wine. So that's why I would urge you to take that first step into Burgundy, get a wine like this, and then there's some real wallet busters out there. This isn't just a land of $1,000 bottle wines. It's $5,000 bottle wines, $10,000 bottles, and you can go up to Domaine Romani Conti for $25,000 a bottle. So there is an enormous amount of magic to be found in Burgundy, and I've got a couple of wallet busters listed below that for you to have a look at, but I would recommend entering with this. So when it comes to Burgundy, I'm going to leave you with one small anecdote. I used to have a girlfriend many years ago who had a saying that she was expensive but worth it. We agreed on the first part, we didn't agree on the second part. With the Burgundies, they're expensive, but they're worth it. So you can agree on both parts.